Hello, I'm David Shepherd, and welcome to my library, and also welcome to Sessions in the Library, which is exclusive to subscribers of the I Am David Shepherd app. So, welcome. My idea around Sessions in the Library is that, as you can probably tell, I read a lot, and I've been reading a lot since 1990, which at this particular point in time is 27 years ago. And I still have all of those books and all the books in my library, which counted around about 3,000 at this point in time, I've read. As a result of studying NLP and practicing NLP for at least 24 years, I discovered that I was reading books differently. I was extracting information from those books differently. I was extracting the values, the beliefs, the meta-programs, the strategies of the authors. And as a result, I was able to assimilate the information very, very rapidly in a way that I could use that information. So I thought it'd be really useful and also would save my subscribers a huge amount of time if I were to be able to literally distill the core essence of a particular book and put it up in Sessions in the Library in the I Am David Shepherd app. So welcome, that's what Sessions in the Library is all about. I hope you learn a lot and that you enjoy it a huge amount. Hi everyone, thanks again for subscribing to my NLP and personal development application, and welcome to my next episode of Sessions in the Library. As you can probably tell, I'm not in my library. I'm away from home at the moment. I'm in Paphos in Cyprus. We're running master practitioner and trainers training out here. And so this is my office for the day. So I wanted to get another Sessions in the Library out. So here we are in today's library. And the book that I want to introduce you to today and take you through some of the major learnings I've got from it, I think it's probably one of the most impactful books that I've read in the last couple of years. It's this one here. It's called The One Thing. You probably see that there. And it's by a guy called Gary Keller, with a little bit from Jay Papasan at the end of it. And this is an absolutely fantastic book, and I'm going to share with you some of the things. And you know, I use it with my clients now, with my coaching and mentoring clients, my corporate clients, and I've started introducing some of my training programs, because it's so impactful, particularly if people are working on huge goals that seem to be just too big or too far off or too overwhelming, too overpowering for them to be able to take any action, instant action, get started with action and be consistent with action. So there's a couple of things first, which, you know, Keller actually blows out of the water, says they're a myth, says they're a lie, they're actually a limiting belief. The first of those, which really got me, was the myth or lie about multitasking. The other was about discipline, and the other was about willpower. So let's talk about multitasking first. So multitasking, I know a lot of people who pride themselves on being able to multitask. You're not going to like what Keller's got to say, because he's basically going to say you don't multitask, and in actual fact nobody can multitask well. We're all single task machines. But the thing I found quite interesting was where the term multitasking came from in the first place, which, even though I'm from a computer background, I hadn't realized. So the term was never applied to human beings. It was first applied to computers in the 1960s, when it was said that computers can multitask. And, you know, you're probably watching this on your phone or your tablet or something like that. I'm filming it on my laptop. And our phones and tablets and our laptops appear to multitask. So, for instance, you know, I'm using my video recording software. I've got Word running. I've got PowerPoint running. I've got Outlook running for emails and various other applications running. You've probably got the same thing on your phone. You know, you're watching this, but it's getting text messages, getting emails, etc. And so our phones, our tablets, our laptops appear to be able to do many things at the same time. But in actual fact, it's an illusion. Because although we've got massively powerful processors these days, the processors can only do one thing at a time. So what the processor does is does something called time slicing. It slices the available time available on the processor power, and it slices it, and it does one thing at a time. So for one slice it'll be doing my video recording software, for one slice it'll be doing Outlook, for one slice it'll be doing PowerPoint, for one slice it'll be doing Word. But it slices that time so rapidly that for us it appears that all these things are actually happening at the same time. But in actual fact, each of these applications that we've got running on our phone, our tablet, our laptop, is actually switching on and off. So my video software is switching off and Word is switching on. Word is switching off and PowerPoint is switching on. PowerPoint is switching off and Outlook is switching on. Then Outlook is switching off and my video software is switching on. But the switching on and off of the applications is so fast that it appears for us that these things are all happening at the same time, when in actual fact they don't. And even though our brain has probably more processing power than my new MacBook Pro, well, it does have a lot more processing power than MacBook Pro, it actually can only do one thing at a time, can only focus on one thing at a time. There's other background tasks, in our unconscious mind, but consciously we can only focus on one thing and do it well. So what Keller's talking about in the one thing is finding what is that one thing for you to focus on, that if you were to consistently focus on that, would actually enable you to achieve your goals, no matter how big they are and no matter how far off they are. Then there's the idea of discipline. Some people, say, I'm disciplined, I'm determined, and they have to put a lot of energy into this discipline. Other people have a belief that they're not disciplined at all. Yeah, and that's one of their problems. Then there's the application of willpower, and some people say that they're strong-willed and other people say that they're weak-willed. But regardless of the amount of willpower we have, it runs out. When we apply willpower, it diminishes. So, it's almost like the battery on your phone. It first starts out first thing in the morning and it's full, and then you draw on it through the day and it gets to the point where it's empty. It's the same for willpower. So what Keller in the one thing is looking at is how do we bust these myths, and basically how can we achieve huge goals, massive goals, by just doing one tiny thing consistently per day, which doesn't require discipline and doesn't require willpower. Now, have I got your interest? Big goals by doing one thing, one tiny thing each day, which doesn't require discipline and doesn't require willpower. I was in, I'll tell you, I was in right away. And I started using this with my coaching clients, my breakthrough clients, my mentoring clients, because a lot of them are going for big goals. And also my corporate clients as well. I was working with a team just recently, a sales team, and they're already number one in their marketplace. But they've had the directive from the company, from the business, to triple their turnover in the next 3 years. And they're already number one in their marketplace, from a turnover perspective, but they've got to triple it in the next 3 years. You can imagine the overwhelm of that huge goal, the overpowering kind of thing that it brings down on them. So I want to share with you a process which I did with them, which I use with my coaching clients. I've also started teaching it in my trainings because it works really well. So we're going to use this you can use it on any big goal, but what I'm going to take you through is how to use it on what you might call your someday goal. A goal where someday I'm going to have this, and it might be so big that at this point in time you can't even put a time frame on it. Yeah. So just bring to mind your someday goal. What is your someday goal? And then ask yourself this question: what can I do in the next 5 years to achieve my someday goal? What's one thing I can do in the next 5 years to achieve my someday goal? Now, based on your 5-year goal, what's the one thing that you can do this year to achieve your 5-year goal? What's the one thing you can do this year to achieve your 5-year goal? Then based on your 1-year goal, what's the one thing you can do this month to achieve your 1-year goal? What's the one thing you can do this month to achieve your 1-year goal? Then based on your 1-month goal, what's the one thing you can do this week to achieve your 1-month goal? What's the one thing you can do this week to achieve your 1-month goal? Then based on your 1-week goal, what's the one thing you can do today to achieve your 1-week goal? What's the one thing you can do today to achieve your 1-week goal? And finally, what's the one thing you can do right now to achieve your 1-day goal? It's the one thing you can do right now to achieve your 1-day goal. Now, of course, that one thing you can do right now, even the one thing you can do today, in comparison to the huge goal that you started out with, the someday goal, is going to be tiny. But it's okay. As long as you do that tiny thing consistently every day, you'll achieve your someday goal. It's a foregone conclusion. And, you know, this brings in the domino effect. And I think a lot of people know about the domino effect. You know, you line up a whole bunch of dominoes. You might have done it when you were a kid. Round a whole bunch of dominoes on the table, flick the first one, and it knocks all the other dominoes over. What I hadn't realized was there's more to the domino effect than that. In actual fact, a single domino has the ability to knock over the next domino, which is 50% bigger than itself. Yeah, so a single domino has the ability to knock over another domino, which is 1.5 times bigger than itself. And that one, a domino 1.5 times bigger than itself. And that one, a domino 1.5 times bigger than itself. And that one, a domino 1.5 times bigger than itself. So let me just refer back to the book. So we started out with just a regular domino, which is like 2 inches tall. By the 18th domino, with each subsequent domino being 1.5 times bigger than the previous one, by the 18th domino, that domino would be the same height as the Leaning Tower of Pisa. By the 23rd domino, it would be the same height as the Eiffel Tower in Paris. By the 31st domino, it would be 3,000 feet above Mount Everest. And by the 57th domino, that domino would reach almost to the moon. But it all started out by tipping over one tiny 2-inch domino. So how do you achieve your someday goal? How do you achieve your massive goals? By paring it back, doing that process that just took you through, to the one thing you can do every day. And then working on how much discipline does it take to do that tiny thing? Probably not very much. How much willpower does it take to do it? Not very much. But particularly if you slice your time. So the very first thing that you do every day is the one thing. And that's the one thing you do every day. First thing, every day. Whether it's 10 minutes, whether it's 15 minutes, whether it's an hour. The first thing, whilst your willpower is really high, the first thing you do is that one thing. then you bring into power the domino effect. And provided you do that consistently, you'll achieve all of the biggest goals. You'll even achieve your goals that are so big you only think you'll achieve them someday. Great, thanks for joining me in my wonderful library today, and I'll see you again soon in the app. Thanks for joining me.